Hey, how's it going? That sounded kind of grainy or something. So, anyway, please take a moment and look at my signs. At my low technology. Yeah, I'm a little self-conscious, so what? Oh, that's not really a very good view, is it? Oopsie. Ooh. Okay, here we go. That's what they say. So, let me get this back on here. Actually, I don't think it needs to still be plugged in. That's kind of awkward. As is my setup right now. There we go. Okay, so I forgot to do it first. Dang. Okay, so I have some cards, and I had some things that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to have it. I mean, I wanted to do the links that go in the description box or whatever under the video. I wanted to do that before I got started, but do you think I can remember a dang thing? No. The answer is no. So, anyway, just gonna move right past. One of the things that I was going to link, I gotta write that down so I don't forget. Doodah. Okay, I gotta get a song that's in this century. I guess I don't want to. I better write it there though. Okay. I'll just do an asterisk kind of thing. Link. Stefan. Stefan the Space Weatherman. And what was the other thing that I think there was another thing. Sorry, it just feels really good to itch this spot. I didn't realize that it itched until I started scratching. Anyway, pardon. Well, anyways, Stefan, what he's been talking about, and not just him, but I'll get to that, is some space weather activity we got coming our way here on Earth. And it's going to be really powerful, and he's not the only one talking about it. I think the other thing that I was going to include, was another perspective about the space weather from one of these channels that I like to watch that have a very, I gotta say, the title cards are scary, like the little thumbnail that you see in your feed of whoever it is, and I've spoken, they'll have these excitable colors and lots of exclamation points, and they're just inflammatory, clickbaity, I guess is what it is. And I guess they need to do that because they really want people to know this. So I know I always remark on it. I guess I don't like the way they want to draw you in. Considering the message, I just feel like there's got to be another way. But it's not my channel, and they didn't ask my opinion. So anyway, those I think are the two that I was hoping, if my brain would have worked properly, to link before I got started, so I could just hit record and not have to come back and keep, not that I wouldn't anyway, but shut up. Hyperbolic wisdom, because wisdom is in the title of one of those channels, although yeah, I guess that is the one that I usually watch. Eye of Wisdom. Just put Eye of on there too, so I know what I'm talking about specifically. Okay, so I was thinking that one of the things that's being said about this incoming space weather is it's a solar activity thing, and I'm not entirely sure it's just coming from just our solar system sun. Like, there's other suns out there that actually do affect this solar system. I know I'm not an astronomer, so do your own research. But even if they're not all affected, and it's just ours, there are other ones out there that we don't really, our science, like I'm one of them, they don't, as far as I know, it's not highly publicized that there's something out there as far as like our farthest Voyager or whatever that is, able to shake things up here, but evidently that is the case. And all I can say is, I don't know if that's quantum, but I think that stuff's just not well understood by anyone. The spiritual community seems to be like, oh, it's this and it's this and it's this. And interestingly enough, a lot of times science and the spirituality will line up and align and be like, oh my God, like the spirituality will not be going, oh my God, I can't believe it's the same, but the science will. And like the general public that's been conditioned to think that science knows all, but I mean, science does not know all. And I am gonna mention this example of the poor astronauts who have been stuck in space because science, Boeing, oh my gosh, Boeing made the spaceship, and they're now, oh my gosh, it's like a horror movie, those poor people. But they're still doing okay, according to what we're being told by the science people and the news people. And the spiritual people seem to feel like, it may not be the greatest, but they're still kicking, they're still alive, and, apparently they're okay, yeah, and that boy is that not one of those situations where you really just can't give in to fear, right? I mean, it would not pay, like, oh my goodness. Well, anyway, why did I start talking about that? Well, science kind of is not all knowing and all effective, I think was the point I was trying to make. Although science eventually, to all appearances, is going to be what saves these people. And when I say to all appearances, what I mean is that there are many unseen hands in our lives that keep us alive, like prevent us from harm and help create miraculous situations that, like the space people, those are the ones that just live in space, are the space people. I'm talking about the Earth people, the astronauts. They're gonna get back here, and it's gonna be sciencey, right? But there's gonna be a little touch of the miraculous in there too, and I think that is an unexplored territory as far as what's gonna happen and what works out what way. I think for some reason I'm reminded of the placebo effect. There's a belief factor that powers another intelligence, another energy, but another influence, another power to change things, change events. So don't get all whacked out. It's not like we don't do things that change events. We little old people. Don't get it twisted. There's just beings in other forms that we can't always perceive without equipment or highly evolved senses that are out there that do things that help and also, I guess, hinder us and our existence. Wow. So anyway, I wrote some stuff and I just want to read it to you because it has to do with the upcoming, well, you know what? Let me just read it to you. Hold on, let me get situated here. So, oh, that wasn't part of it. Here we go. Against all odds. Are you looking around and finding a world more frightening? Oh, that should definitely be a question mark. I don't even know what that was. Hooray! May not be right outside the door. And, oh, I see. It may be right outside the door, and it may not. It's a surprise. You know, when it is out there. And as much so when it's not. I was like, you don't know what you're going to open up your door to if you just are going on something like a news broadcast that's just telling you that it's just death and destruction just outside your door. When you can look out, you don't even have to open the door. Maybe you can look outside without doing that and see, like, okay, it's not Mad Max out there. You know. Moving on. Where was I? Come on, you can do it. Okay, the dangerous world is indeed out there, as it always has been. A lot of times I find myself thinking, this is like the fill-in-the-blank time from history. 20th century history, if you know what I mean. Not gonna... Never mind, I'm just gonna keep reading. I hear it from a lot of other people, too, and so likely have you heard it also from other people. Figures, too. A lot get referenced in in politically tinged conversations of all kinds in every setting. In every setting imaginable. It's inescapable anymore, as it's becoming more and more apparent that inattention has led to some highly effective gaslighting on the part of our politicians, and I would also add corporations, religions. Like I say it pretty often, you just never know what's real. You just never know if everything that you've been told is real stuff. You don't know if the people are like who they are presenting to be. Do we not often find out that people just have been not telling the truth about a whole thing, and all kinds of people get financially ruined or somehow, you know, ripped off financially? I mean, the dangerous world is and always has been out there. We just, you know, I guess we're just being reminded of how close it can get to you in other insidious ways. That was all spontaneous, pretty much. Everything that came after gaslighting was new script. So let me get back to what I actually wrote. As with Brexit, some people I wouldn't have expected to are now regretting their choice and are panicky, if I were to guess, and looking for ways out. I'm referring to regretting their vote. Naturally, lots of feels have been and still are being had. I had some too. My aim is not to gloat or I told you so, because I'm not out to worsen feelings. the opposite, because I am one who did see reasons not to vote for the R, the Republican. Since he won, some of what people tried to prevent with our votes may very well, and didn't actually succeed in preventing, may well come to be, and all voters, every stripe, will be the recipient of that administration's plans. I know from here on, we're all in this together. That's what I know for sure. Which brings me to what brought me to the page. Solar Pal. Not a typo. I plan to upload this to my website. That's why I'm talking about typo stuff. So just, add that to what you're hearing. So yeah, not a typo. We will be in the way of a finely aged swell of solar activity. This tidal wave is said to be from 300 years ago. The solar maximum space weather phenomenon is the catalyst to unleash this massive electromagnetic marvel headed our way. So in the usually I have to take the teeth out to have a lift, but I guess I'm just gonna have one. The space weatherman Stefan. Sorry about that. In his video about this space weather thing that's coming, like, it's a big deal. He's not the only one talking about it. There's like in my YouTube feed, I have seen like regular news broadcasts come through. Like, everybody's talking about this, like it's a big deal. Like, it's like NASA is talking about it, blah blah blah. So Stefan in his video, I'm gonna link it, but he did not put solar maximum in the title. And the solar maximum space weather phenomenon is the catalyst to unleash this massive electromagnetic marvel headed our way. So it's light, but it's gonna affect light and magnitude. It's gonna affect electromagnetic stuff. And that's in us, that's in water, and that's in like pretty much everything with some kind of a pulse, that's alive, and even like inert things that we don't, like, oh my god, like lightning can strike a rock and because it conducted the lightning. Like, everything has some kind of little something going on in it. It may not look like what we look like, like a rock looks a lot different, but those can be radioactive. They can do a lot of things. Gotta open our mind. So anyway, where did I go? Oh, I can't believe he didn't put solar maximum in the title of his video, because a lot of people kind of have an idea of what that is, or have heard of it, at least in the spiritual, metaphysical community. I just can't believe he didn't put it in the title for clicky click. Like, dude, what were you thinking? On a personal note, just an observation, dude got a haircut. He may have like cut his antenna, kind of messed himself up, because that seems like an easy one. Sorry, side note over. So yeah, another effect the New Age astrology, or another effect the New Age astrological metaphysical schools of thought are saying is that the activity is likely to trigger mass awakenings and enhance sensitivities and abilities. If one is in a state of reception, it's a good time to set an intention. Something positive, like, I don't know, really help toward Gaza, or Yemen or Ukraine, like wherever, like people are just not doing well at all, like prisons everywhere, like whatever. But you know, I mean, you obviously you can set any kind of intention you want, but for this particular sunlight energy, like you want it to be a positive intention, because that would be sort of like going negative charge in the middle of a bunch of positive, and it just wouldn't work. I don't think. Okay, so moving on. In this way, we might under normal stressful times anyway. Oh, okay. Now I lost my track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, set the intention. So, oh, I see. In this way, comma, now it makes more sense. Like we might under normal stressful times anyway. It'll help us through the extremely charged energy to stay grounded. Get bare feet upon dirt, sand, mud, concrete. Concrete. Hold on. Go right much? Come on. In that order. Not asphalt. No light sucking black underfoot. Have an Epsom salt bath. Swim. Hike in nature. Look at the skies and all the animals around, and whatever it takes to keep moving forward and not allowing thing we once got mired in. I think that should say things. Not allowing things we once got mired in to even be entertained. Really? Come on, girl. I'm not writing that fast. Even to be entertained, to not even be entertained. Like, don't let the old shit suck you back in. To make space for helping take some of the fear, stress, overwhelm that those of us who won't be entertaining seeing things my woo-woo California goofball way. You know, they may not have moved into the space of acceptance and surrender, that readiness to let go and go with the flow. Sorry about this. If we can forego the status quo of the common discourse and look to each other for help, information, companionship, there's more kinds of support that we can always come up with for each other in our times of need. I mean, we do. Like, seriously, when there's some kind of disaster situation and you got to make, you know, loaves and fishes out of a Triscuit, you just figure out ways, you know, people come together and people help. And I guess I'm saying it would be great if we could do that for each other, right? When there's not a disaster going on. So what's coming though is not a disaster. And if you, I mean, it's going to be strong. There's like, if you are someone that considers yourself like a light worker or a starseed or anything like that, you're concerned with ascension and not just your own, because you understand that like everything happens to all of us, you know. It could be happening on another continent, and that butterfly effect will come over and smack you in America. You know, it's like, or like on a smaller scale, same thing. Nothing happens without the intervention and addition of each other. Like, stop doing that. It's always a collective group effort, you know, like we may not be aware of it, but you can be. Anyway, what else did I say? I'm trying to find my place. we so yeah, we can be all kinds of support for each other in times of need. We resist that, and if anything is hurting us or the future of humanity, it's turning upon ourselves. It's turning upon itself. Oh, well, humanity. But yeah, that's us turning upon ourselves. And boy, we seem to, some of us are really be getting like a thrill out of saying we're going to have a civil war. And it's like, you don't really want that. I mean, it's not going to fix whatever made you want to have that. It's just going to make a time of pain and sadness, and it's just going to hurt every industry except for some like opportunists. You know, I don't want to say a bunch of terrible words, but fill in the blanks on that. Carpetbaggers and such, which originated from the post-Civil War period. It's not a good thing. And then like, how many years ago was that now? Like 1860s? Was it like 200? I can't count. It was a long time ago. We still haven't even emotionally gotten over it. And people are talking about doing it again. Can you like just stick to like drug addiction and leave me out of it? Like, we gotta have a whole war and suck everybody in. Not everybody is into that stuff. In my opinion, our biggest roadblocks to our like overall happiness is we do it to ourselves. We get in our own way, and that's part of the like sort of cosmic plan, I guess. It's the individual's part and the things that happen there and the discoveries that we go to. Anyway, I just thought those thoughts and I started off in what I wrote talking about how the election kind of divided us, but it's been the case to varying degrees. Parties have switched sides, but it's the same people with a different title, and the same kinds of battles and debates have gone on over time and have not really changed a whole heck of a lot. And that's kind of like like it goes against like forces of nature, and that may be why we're having so many problems. It's like, we gotta like finally wash that crap out of our hair, so a bunch of us have to go through it together and do it. And in the guise of like, Trump winning and having like the cold civil war here in this country that he started between us, and that helps no one but other countries for us to be weak and at each other's throats. And it's just not a good idea on any scale, in any case, anyway, like to be like against each other. But maybe this is an opportunity for us to figure that out. Like the regretting of choosing the MAGA way, like seeing like, oh my God, those people we're talking so much crap about, who were not helping the situation by talking as much crap or doing their best to back. It's like, why would you even think that that was the good like response? Are you trying to like get stuff done or have fights with people? I don't even understand why people went there. Anyway, we have an opportunity to join together, take under the wing of, those of us who saw what was coming can like bring those people in that chose the other way before realizing that that was not their, like, they found themselves to be unhappy with their choice. They regretted it. So, they already feel bad enough, and like, even without this whole circumstance, the right and the left fighting and like coming down on each other for every little thing and getting all personal with it, and it's like, that's not helping anything. That, like, what does that have to do with anything that's going to help all of us? All of us fighting helps who? Not us. Again, that's us taking our eye off the ball and weakening ourselves in sort of the global situation, because poop rolls downhill, and if we're not like cleaning the tidy bowl where all the people live, the pool, I know it's a gross analogy, but sorry, that's where it went. The pool that is dipped from to staff our country on every level. Like, you can have your classes and castes all you want, but that crap is artificial. Like, the things that power it, money. Come on. If everybody's belief in it just evaporated, all of the stuff and all of the things would have no freaking value. Anybody could have it. Anybody can have it. We're just playing a game where some of us can and some of us can't. It's like, I'm exhausted with it. Again, an opportunity to like break that mold and make a new one, make a better one, make a one where like, I guess we can't ever have a thing where everyone can be happy. I guess there's always going to be some malcontent somewhere, because, I don't know, some kind of balance crap I don't understand. But you know what? If it has to be, then it just gives us something to work on. Like, once, okay, everything's all good and it's happy, now we need something to worry about. Well, maybe that's why, because that kind of is us. Like, we can't just be content and happy. At some point, it's just going to be like, I'm bored, time to fuck shit up. Let me throw a bomb in everything. Sorry about the terminology, but you know what? The world of danger is everywhere. Case in point, Times Square, or the San Francisco Tenderloin, even more recently, not in the 20th century. Same kind of thing, though. Both places, when capitalism decided they wanted to clean it up, doesn't mean capitalism is clean, though. They partook of that stuff as much as your lower man, everyday Joe, whatever, plain people. Where am I? Am I from another country? Why can't I have regular terms? I don't know. I just lost them all. I'm an imposter. What was I saying? But yeah, the regular people, everybody partook of some form of slime or scum. Well, that's what we call it now, and that's what it became, sort of, in that Times Square area and time. But it was like a time of awakening. It was like the age of Aquarius, although I don't know that it actually was. I think now it actually is the age of Aquarius. I'd have to check the record on that, but I know they talked about it a lot. I know that it was like the hippie love thing, and that was definitely trying to be this, just a set of circumstances. It just took like one thing, like Altamont, I guess, just ruined everything. But that's not true. That just sort of shined the light on, again, the ugliness and danger that was always there. So, I don't know why it's so important to keep bringing that up, except that you can still have love and light in the world, and like, everything doesn't have to be that, because it's kind of, it's dark and it's depressing, and there's documentaries you can watch, same as now, people went through stuff they didn't come out the other end of happily or well, and needed to be healed from the experience, and it hasn't changed. So anyway, here's some cards I pulled from the Sacred Soul Messages deck, and the first one is this here measuring glass. Magnifying glass. God, first time I ever spoke English. Look for the answer inside your question. Well, okay, here's a scenario. What if you're like a MAGA or a liberal or a progressive or whatever? You're a lefty and you're a righty, and you got an idea about the other people, but you ask a question like a lawyer. You ask a question you kind of know the answer to in a way, and that's like you in the same way we can look for answers to questions we might have about other people and find the answer in ourselves. And that's why I mentioned the left and the right, because we're, I think, a lot more similar. I think we are. I know we are. We just get ideas, really, that separate us, or we let appearances do that, and it's just something we take part in and we decide to do, and it gets out of control sometimes. Like, I feel like it could be done better, but yeah, I guess that's subjective too. Like, everybody gets to have a unique experience. But I mean, if you're gonna question something or someone else that you're looking at, you may as well look inside first, and you might not find exactly the same thing you're looking at outside. Like, it may not appear identically, but it's going to be some aspect of you, because you are, for some reasoning, like, you can't take your eyes off of it. It's like a lock, and you're just compulsive, you know? Well, I guess I put a lot to that. I don't know how true all of that is, but sometimes curiosity is like that. And I guess it could be obsessive, especially if it really is like something that you see it in somebody else and it triggers you so badly that you start to behave some kind of way that's like outstanding, which is like a symptom of like, wow, you really got something you need to deal with, you know? You need to figure out why that person, place, or thing is making you so wacko. Like, that's the question you gotta look inside yourself for the answer to. So the other portion of the card reads, be honest with yourself, you know the truth. I don't think I need to add a dang thing to that. But maybe you gotta, like, really look hard, you know? It's interesting. I just had a conversation on Blueski with fake Brad Pitt, and I had answered somebody else, and it was like, actually what it was is they posted a piece of art, and there was a quote, and the quote said something about, you know what, I can't exactly remember, but I remember what my response was, and my response was, I kind of valued that, and what I valued out of it was the quote seemed to be saying that your friends will, like, tell you when you're acting up, and my take was, when my friends have told me that I'm acting up, I tend to listen. Like, so when the next day fake Brad Pitt was like, oh, well, you know, if your friends are not treating you right, just get rid of them, there's no value in that. So I knew he was, like, answering me. We had started following each other, but I wasn't sure. I figured it was fake Brad Pitt, because usually, like, it is somebody fake. But you never know. Anyway, So I said, well, the reason why I say I value it is because I feel like when someone you know knows you well starts telling you you're blowing it, that's when you should pay attention. Because when I was very young, I was in a band with other kids, and I was the oldest at 15, and the youngest was 11. So the 14-year-olds and the 11-year-old like got on my case. It was so funny because it was what we would now recognize as an intervention, like the way it played out. But they like got me in a room, and like we would have been in a room anyway because we were in a band and we were friends. But all but one of us got me in a room and like sat me down and were like, "Dude, you're like this and you're that, and it's just hard to be around you. And like, what is going on with you?" And so they didn't like that I was trying to get them to rehearse because I knew that this big band wanted us to go on tour with them, and plus when you're in a band, like, duh, you you rehearse. And they just wanted to go hang out with their friends and play, and I was like I guess I was getting too like upset about making sure we didn't look like idiots and maybe get to go like we'd already been invited to go on the tour, but it would have been like the kickoff to the tour. And so somebody that had been in the band but got kicked out, who actually took part in this intervention, there's more, this is quite layered actually. So that guy had to leave the band because he started sort of sabotaging a few of us, and he just went on to do that. And in retrospect, I now understand, but it's like 50 years later. Of course I understand now. But anyway, he was mad, because he got kicked out, and he was one of the ones that started the band, it's true. But so was I. So he talked the singer, who was still in the band, to ditch the show and like just totally tanked our dreams. And again, I get it. Like, I guess he felt like we did that to him, and I suppose we did. But at the same time, we were kids, and man, don't cross that so-and-so like now, because they were only 14 at the time, and they were like diabolical enough to talk the singer out of showing up to a really important gig. Like, we were getting paid like pretty big money for a bunch of stupid kids, and it actually probably is like best that we did not go on tour with this particular band, because even though we didn't go on tour with them, two of us became heroin addicts bad enough to require like rehab and get into police trouble. And I certainly have my own issues, but I have a healthy fear of jail and police. And at that time, like, yeah, I mean, I would do illegal stuff certainly to a degree, but I was certainly much more conservative and cautious as far as the ingesting of stuff. Everything else, I was as stupid as everybody else. I was just doing whatever. But those guys in that band were already like alcoholic, drunk, addict, wild people. It would not have been healthy for any of us impressionable people to go on that tour. So funny now, like, I've certainly come to this realization many times over the years, but certainly not then. Then I was just like, oh, you little so why did I start talking about that? I don't know. But boy, hey, one decision, one hurt feeling can just like be a landmine to something that you're trying to accomplish, because somebody didn't feel like they got treated right. And I guess we do that a lot to each other, and that's not very civil of us, is it? I have more cards. Why am I just sitting here spacing out? So the next card is this here sailing boat card, and it reads, "Let the waters settle and the stars will be mirrored in you." Well, I mean, I could take that two ways. You know, if you look at the water on this card, it's very flat and still, and yet the sail there sure seems to be full of wind, and that's like, God, nighttime. Nighttime free sailing, no traffic. Yeah, it's not a highway, but I mean, the quiet, it's gonna be quiet on the ocean. I guess I just am thinking in terms of land I'm a land lubber. But that looks like smooth sailing. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it has to be nighttime for us to calm down in a lot of ways and be still, so that smooth sailing can be achieved. So you're not like thrashing around and creating, just messing up the smooth sailing. Like, is there a front wake? I don't know. I am not a nautical person. So the rest of the card says, "Take a break. Time away brings clarity." So I guess I should have kept going. But take a break from the like discord that we kind of have with each other, and like what's going on, currently. I mean, there's always something to sort of be, I guess, worried about, thanks to the news. Like, things can be presented in ways that are not as that don't incur fear. That's also possible. It just doesn't pay to do that. And since capitalism, hail capitalism, is our way, then we just do things. It doesn't matter if it's hurting people, as long as the people that put it in motion can make a profit off of it. Well, who cares if there's collateral damage? Plenty more where they came from. If people have that attitude, I suggest they start working on changing it, because it's getting old with people. So here's the next card. Cute little house. I don't know why, but the windows drew my attention, and they're not very ordered, but they're on there. It's like there's all these ways to see from this little cozy house. It's funny too, it almost looks like a fairy house, because if you look at the roof, it either looks like a winged bug sitting on top of it, like a lightning bug. That's how I was thinking about that earlier. Is a lightning bug the same as a firefly? Well, either way, they have a light. They have an intermittent illumination capacity, these insects, and I would imagine their wings look like that when they're still. Or it's a leaf as the roof, or it's just a roof. It's an architectural style, but the windows give it like this whimsy feel, like they're so close together. What's on the other side of those? Is it like some kind of spiral staircase or something? Where's there to stand and look out of those? I have questions. So anyway, the card reads, "If light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Let your intuition return to the past. Be your own teacher." Let your intuition return to the past? I don't know, there's something very childlike about this to me. So maybe that's where like the past comes in, and the whimsy of childhood. Well, that could certainly be brought forward. It needs to be actually into our adulthoods, because man, we're kind of sour. We're always on each other's necks, and it's like, I just feel like we should make an effort not to do that, because for those of us who end up with people on our necks, so to speak, we don't like it. And then I don't know why people don't automatically have this, but I know they don't. But I automatically think, like, if something untoward is happening to one person, well, how would you like it if that was happening to you? Like, please don't do that. And I know it's annoying when I say stuff like that, if people listen. Like, my entreaty to at least stop abusing each other, to start getting along. Like, I'm just trying to make a crack, I don't have to do it. No one's paying me. I know it would, like, we'd feel better. Like, that's my main thing. Like, who doesn't want to feel better? People that want to feel bitter, I guess. And that's something we all have to endure until we can all, like, experience it a different way. I think that's probably the best way I could possibly have put it, because we all have to experience a different way. And then if we are all doing that and there's still someone that is not, that's going to be more and more difficult for them to maintain. And I don't like conforming, like, where there's no uniqueness and there's no, like, even, like, rebellious feel. Like, we can't just be uniform, cookie cutter beings. We're not set up that way. We're not built that way. It wouldn't work. Like, every time it's tried, we bust right out of it and start flying all of our fleek frags, bows, and we need order and we need structure, but we gotta agree on what that is. Otherwise, there's always going to be someone straining and struggling and malcontent, like I said at the beginning. So anyway, this here card, boy, that more primary color kid sneakers, kid looking feel thing. Oh, toddler. When you start to walk, the way appears. You'll see it once you start. You know why you ain't seen it? Because you won't start. You gotta do it. You gotta step off that cliff, taking steps, beginning again, creating the life you truly want. Walking away, toddling away like a baby, restarting, like just saying sayonara to, like, the stuff before. And when you go through certain things and you make realizations and you change and you mature, and I don't mean just aging, but like emotional maturity and empathy, and getting to that stage where it's less about I or me and more about we or they and them. You're reborn in the society in the society that I grew up in. It seems like it was there when I was a little kid, but the people that used to teach it all died, and then the traditions all died, and people just forgot. And it's interesting how you move away from the things that people still talk about but don't really embody, like caring about family, caring about people. Like, people say so much. They do anything for anyone. They give you the clothes off their back. And I look at the people saying that, and they're usually, I'm sorry, please don't, have a tumor about this, but it's usually somebody white. And especially if they're Southern, I think. Now, if I were to wander into these people's yard and I needed something, would they be in such a hurry to help me in any way they could? I don't know. I kind of hear shotguns racking. It's kind of the tone. But it's maybe part of something that we need to evolve from. I mean, I've already done that. Like, I have not even had that in this lifetime because I got done with it in other ones. I'm here doing a new one. I was reborn and I'm doing things a different way. I would like other people to join me and also think like, man, it's been hard for so long, and being mean and violent and hateful and avaricious and ugly and greedy, and those are just all kind of like, none of them are happy. None of them put a smile of joy on your face. None of them give you that spark of like cute baby kitten, or just something beautiful that just makes your heart sing or swell. Everyone's gotten so hard, like, I can't care, I can't let anyone see me care. Everyone's against me, even my spouse, even my partner. Like, everything I gotta hide something. It's like, oh my God, really? Are you the Grinch? What the hell, man? There's no reason to be like that. I mean, certainly people have like things they can't change, like illnesses, mental illness or something like that, but a lot of the things that we do, even if we have those things going on, we still can decide to be or do things or not. Like, we always have that open to us. So I pulled a few from the Gemstone Whispers deck, which is, boy, that one's harder for me to read. But the first card I got was Black Orlov Diamond, and I pulled that, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. That's gonna, what, I don't, but I always make the mistake of like thinking, oh, it's talking about me. No, not talking about me. So what? Here, take a look at that. It's seductive and beautiful, but when you hear what I have to read about it, you'll understand why it's dark, but not irredeemable. So, misfortune, right? When the soul suffers too much, it develops a taste for misfortune. That makes me think of something that I've been talking about lately, which is not realizing. First, I felt like it was people on the left that I would see talking, like in the news format type of way. And even though they're on the left, they had nothing good to say about hardly anybody on the left, including the president, including like what they were doing. Like, even if they were reporting good financial and job reports, they were still kind of like, And I was like, you're stuck in the past. Like, you could still have your problems, but take the W. Like, stop being stuck on. Let go of that loser baggage. So that's what it makes me think of. It's like you developed a taste for being in this space, but it's not just on the left, because then the Republicans won. And they got to say all kinds of stuff that made people feel bad, which I guess was their goal. But underneath that, I feel like, is this insatiable desire to be liked and loved, but they can't stop doing the thing that made them unlikable and unloved. It's like, you are also in the situation of, like, if it's a romantic situation or a friendship situation or even a work situation, everybody's not there to serve you. You are in a situation with other people. And so particularly in the romantic situations where it becomes all huge and excitable because it's about our emotions and our vulnerabilities. If we get hurt and we don't handle it well, I mean, I'm saying that very mildly, but we know how badly it can go for spurned men. Like, they are really seriously having a problem where the spurned woman thing is different. Like, they first have to actually be spurned to be angry and upset enough to get anywhere near the violence and vitriol of these guys that don't even score and are, like, murderous. It's insane. Which is an opinion. Obviously, I'm not a shrink of any kind, and I don't use that kind of language to describe people. It's not even about. I mean, there might be some mental health issues involved. It's a slang thing, like, dude, that's nuts. But the point is like, if the situation that you were in didn't work out, you can't just blame it on everything but yourself, because you know why? You were also a part of the situation. You were there. You have to take into consideration that you did or said something that gave that person, that potential partner, the ick. And you can't just be all, it's everybody else's fault. Especially if it happens over and over and over. If you keep talking about the same thing with a different woman every time and the only common denominator is you, hello. Gotta take some of that responsibility. And also, if you are serious and you want to stop being just ill-willed and nasty, and you actually do want to have a nice relationship and be liked and loved, then you have to get the taste of incel out of your mouth. And I'm just using that term because it kind of applies. That's even people that are married and have relationships can have that attitude. So it's a very strange phenomenon. I'm learning more about it all the time, finally, from men, and it's just captivating. So anyway, but so the right one, and they got to say all kinds of nasty stuff, and now it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they're sore winners and they have nowhere else to go and nothing to do. Like, they're just stuck in the past of this talking crap all the time, and it's like, you won. Okay, our bodies, your choice, whatever. It's still, like, unhappy. They just want more. And then, hi, are you addicted to misfortune? If you still won and you still are all sour about the other side, you might be addicted to misfortune. So the next card is Ruby. They don't mention all of the diamonds on this ring, but they're on there too. Little sparkling white lights. It's, I wonder why they put a ring on there instead of just the stone. That's kind of interesting. And then also, the diamonds that I was talking about remind me of, what is that hotel? I think it was the Flamingo. It's no longer there in Las Vegas, but I believe it had like a flowing light situation like this, like as if all of those little stones are lights. But also Las Vegas, speaking of rings, lots of like, woo, marriages, quickie marriages happen there. And I guess just, longy marriages. Slowy. Anyway, let me read the damn card. Infinity. Wow. I mean, twin flame, if you're going to go that route. No, route, if you're going to go that route. So, infinity. But it's not talking about that. I don't know, maybe. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Actually, I have something to say about that. Wow, I just got really loud. So in the piece that I wrote, I was talking about having enhanced abilities and sensitivities. Well, the stop acting so small is what made me think of that, because a lot of a message that I've been getting for a while, not just that I felt were toward me or for me, they just appear like in my feed because that spirituality stuff is what I'm interested in. So all kinds of like perspectives about it, but it's not just the metaphysical new age stuff. It's also like stuff that kind of comes from like the Bible, or like stuff from like Enoch or Elijah or Jesus and the disciples that all talked about that sort of spirit inside of us, and Jesus trying to get us to understand that the things he was doing, he wasn't there to like entertain us and be magic and be all woo and awe us. He was there to show us and awe us about the idea that you too can do these things. You too have this capacity inside you. So stop thinking so small. The universe. You are the universe. I was going to say the universe is inside you. You are the universe. Kind of same thing. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. So, I mean, if you're not thinking of yourself as this powerful being, well, I think you need to find a way to start thinking of yourself that way. Just in the past couple of years, I've discovered some things that I was able to do that I almost don't even know how to talk about to tell someone else. I'm not going to talk about it here because it's just personal, but it's big and it doesn't just affect me. And so that kind of blew my mind. It's a small thing and it just ended up being so big. And I think we all have something like that. And if we're thinking that if our tendency is to think, well, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that, well, here's the thing: you can learn how, and you can learn how to know. Like, you're not as hampered as you would think. So I don't know, like maybe you need to marry yourself to the eternal idea that, you know, you're not just this one little small idea that, you know, we start telling ourselves because other people tell us stuff and we believe it and we don't question things enough, like in our own defense. It's just my own feeling. I could be completely wrong about that, but for myself, I that's kind of like the way I roll, I guess. So the next card is Adventurine. Oh, sorry, not Adventurine, Aventurine. And I love the green color of it. It's green is the color of healing, and I'm just noticing that holy crap, there's a reflection on here, and you know what it is? Look at it while I find the other card. Look at all those windows! Asymmetrical windows! What the heck? Okay, so I guess I missed something big about the windows. Although, I don't know, though. I think it is like the same thing with a different perspective. And then also, this is not like a crystal ball, but it is an orb. And it is reflecting all these windows. And it's like a Seven of Cups situation. Like, you know, you have a lot of choices. Or like a room of doors with you don't know what's behind it. Could be a hungry lion, could be $1 million, could be Brad Pitt. You never know. That's kind of life, you know. You just gotta, especially with a crystal ball, you gotta use your senses. So the windows, maybe you gotta look through enough windows if you haven't found that certain ability, sensitivity, capacity that is like your superpower that amazes you, that this is something that happened as a result of something that I did. Sorry. So it says fortune. Reading your fortune. It's not a crystal ball, but okay. Chance is the first step you take. Luck is what comes afterward. You gotta start stepping somewhere. Okay, It's time to feed my cat. Thank you and good night. Oh, am I done? Take advantage of the sun thing that is now today. I've been feeling it for a couple of days. If you've been feeling like you've been walking through static, like all of your hairs are standing up, then you have been feeling this sun thing approaching. So get ready for the 23rd, or was it 22nd? I don't know. Maybe I waited too long to make this. Even if it's after it's happened, which I don't think that's the case. I think it's happening like right now. There will be reverberations. Like if I was feeling it beforehand, I'm quite sure I'll be feeling it afterwards. So and I don't actually feel significantly different as of right now, but who knows? Maybe it's happening, because this is the other thing about it too. I don't want to leave this out. The Starseed Lightworker people, we've kind of been preparing for this, you know, like I had my Kundalini awakening around 10 years ago, maybe more than that, like a couple of years before 2016, so probably 2013, and I don't know if it's over or if it just changed into something else. Like I still feel stuff all the time. I just feel it differently in different things now. So people that have been experiencing math for a while have been coping with things for a while, new sensations and ways to process and alchemize things within themselves and process stuff that they're feeling and what other people are feeling that sort of comes their way in various ways, forms. Yeah, I guess I'm done. I think I covered everything. Thank you and good night.